In the appliance repair business, you have to make sure your service call fee is priced correctly. So what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Marcus the Money Man, the appliance boss. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through one of the changes that we had to make, increasing the service call fee. And I'll break down exactly how I came to my number, and let's get to it.
Welcome to the Appliance Boss channel.
What's up, everybody? So you may want to know, how much should you charge for your service call fee? So when we started here, we were at $97 for us to come out. So we're in California, and our service call fee was basically based on an average of that blue book. There's a printed blue book, the Appliance Blue Book, the printed version I don't think it exists anymore, but it was specifically for California. I had purchased a copy of that, and when I flipped through, there are like prices for $105, $85, $75, and what I did was I just picked one, the average cost that was kind of in the middle. We were a little slick with it, so it was $97, so not quite $100. So it's a psychology thing that goes along with that. Hearing a price that's less than $100, so that's what we went with. Now, the following year, we actually increased our service call fee from $97 to $99. Okay. Now, keep in mind, our service call fee, we did not apply it to the repair. So they would pay the fee, plus if they chose to go with the repair, we would write them up an estimate. They would either select to pay for the estimate, we would fix it, or not. Okay, so we had that $97 and $99 fee segmented. Now we went to $99 because at the $99 mark, we increased by $2, and basically that $2 increase was able to pay for the technician benefit program that we started. So you may not think that it's a lot, but when you're running a bunch of different, a whole lot of service calls, I can't remember exactly what we were running at that time, but all we needed was $2 extra up front to be able to pay for the employee benefits. So that's why we did that increase from 97 to 99. So this last time, and we were at $99 since 2022, okay, January 2022. And all of 22 and 23, we were at the same price. Now, what happened between 2022 and 2023? The prices of wages have increased, right? The prices of parts have increased. So in 2022, we did a estimate increase. So we didn't change what we charge up front because we didn't roll it in, but we did increase our labor, and we added tweaks on how much we charge for our parts. Now, this year, what I noticed was we had a big focus on our booking percentage, and then also we would monitor our refund rate, okay? And that was really the key, because part of our policy is if we can't fix it, we'll give you a refund less the service call fee. So if we charge you any labor or any parts, we would refund whatever we collected and only keep that fee of $99, okay? And as our refunds increased, it had a significant impact on what we were taking in. And this is due to turnover. So what I had to do was really take a look at, were we really charging enough initially to go out? Because we had increased our labor on the back end, which made our ticket average good to meet our margins. But what happens if we did have a significant increase again in refunds? Because as labor increases, I'm not at a 9 technician. I think at one point we had 8 guys in the trucks, and we're not at that anymore, nor based on what we're doing to hit our goals, do we need that? So we're settled at the 6 in the truck for now. And in order to do that, I had to understand how many calls were we booking per technician. So that was key. The second thing you need to do is, after you understand how many calls you're booking, is how much do you pay to acquire a customer? So that's key. You basically take how much you spend in any marketing, okay, efforts. That could be wrapped vehicles, that could be business cards, anything marketing with logos, flyers that you pay for to get your name out there. You take that number and you divide it by the number of calls you booked over that same period of time. And that'll give you exactly how much it costs for you based on what you're using to acquire a customer. Okay, so we did that. Now, based on that, you have to also understand what is your overhead. So you understand how many calls you're booking per day. You're understanding how much you're going to spend per day to acquire those number of calls. And you understand your overhead now. So how much per day, business days, working days, it's going to cost for your doors to be open. So we're talking any CSRs, any insurance, gas, all of those expenses that are directly tied to keeping your business functional. Okay, so you understand how much that costs. Then you also need to understand how much or what is the cost of your labor for that day. Okay, that'll give you a solid number. Now, if you do that number and it is equal to or greater than what you're charging for a service call fee, you're running in the negative. Okay, you're running very skinny margins. So what we did is we took that number and then we multiplied it by what we want our profit margin to be. Okay, and by doing that, I determined that I needed to move our service call fee from $99 to $125. And that's a huge leap. So if you think about it, that's a 25% increase overnight. And I be quite honest, just like many of you may be out there right now, I was a little hesitant about going over that $100 mark. But since we've done it, we've had no to little pushback at all. Okay. Now, if you're increasing your service call fee by 25% and you're keeping your close rates and everything the same now, which we haven't seen it falter at all. What that means is you're going to make more money. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid. Use this calculation. So I'll repeat it one more time. Number of book calls. So you have to understand how many calls you are running per day. Don't guess. Don't say about. Don't say 4 to 5. You have to know that you're running 5.62 calls per day. Okay? And knowing that information, you have to dive into your QuickBooks, your P&L, if you don't have this set aside, but know how much you're spending on your marketing efforts. Okay? So now you can take the number of calls that you're running versus how much you're spending on marketing. So the total number of calls that you ran over the period of time plus the total amount that you spent on marketing, that'll give you how much it costs to acquire a customer. Then from that point, you have to understand what your overhead expenses are. So you take your overhead expenses monthly, you want to divide it by the working number of days in that month, and then that'll determine the second number, which is how much overhead expense you have per day. Okay? And then from that point, you have to determine how much labor costs you per day. So physically going to the job. So if you're doing it and it's you doing the job, it's your labor. So how much do you cost? How much do you collect per ticket? You should be, so this is another tip, if you're not factoring that piece in as another technician, you're not planning to get out of the vehicle. So you should have that factored in. So if you're doing calls by yourself, you should have a labor factor that is for somebody else. And then now you add those three numbers together and you multiply it by a margin. Your margin, a good margin should be anywhere between, if you're by yourself, it should be anywhere between 30 and 50%. If you're running a crew and you have multiple technicians, good margin should be, for a service call fee, should be anywhere between 20 and 40%. Okay. So for ours, we stuck right in the middle because we're not a low labor company, low parts company. We're higher in our market. So our margins on the back end is also pretty good. So I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, go ahead, comment below. I'm curious to see, what are your service call fees and what areas are you in? Because right now we're at 125 in California. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Go ahead, like and subscribe below.